In your measurement paper, there are two papers. In paper 1, you get MCQs, fill in the blank questions, and write in short answer questions, right? Altogether 30 questions. And in paper 2, there are 3 parts. In the first part, you will get this question, right? And in the second part, there will be 4 essay type questions, and you will have to answer 2. And in part 3, there will be 3 stat problems, and you will have to select 2. Alright. In part 1, you will get only this question, okay, based on these marks. And if you do this correctly, you will score 20 marks, and if you don't do this, you lose 20 marks. So this is a compulsory question. You have to do. If you don't do, you lose 20 marks. Now we'll go through this question briefly. The following are the marks scored by 50 students. You'll have to pay attention to this number, 50. Underline it, right? In some years they give 40 students, and in some years 30. Most of the time it's 50, but you have to pay attention to this number. 50 students in grade 7 in an English test conducted at the end of the second term. So these are the marks of 50 students. You can see there are 10 columns this way, 10, and here 5 rows, right? And based on these marks, what you have to do? Part 1. Prepare a frequency distribution table, right? The other day I showed you the table. So here you will have to prepare a frequency distribution table or distribution taking 25 to 29 as the lowest class, right? Here you have to underline these two, 25 to 29 and the lowest class. Right, you know these are row limits, and then there are real limits also. So here in this question they have given row limits. Second one is draw a histogram using the prepared distribution. This is a graph. Second question is based on a graph. Third one, taking the midpoint of the class 45 to 49 as the assumed mean. Calculate the arithmetic mean of the above scores. So here you will have to calculate the arithmetic mean. And the third part, the fourth part, comment on students' achievement referring to the histogram, this one, and the arithmetic mean. So this is the interpretation part. Sometimes here in the past papers we can find earliest, right? Standard deviation also. So I'll go through the note. You can go through the note, and here you can find this one. We'll go through. Statistics is the study of data in relation to collection. You have to collect data. There are 2 ways of collecting data. First one is the primary collection of data. Second one, the secondary collection of data. Primary collection means the researcher himself collects the data. In this case, the teacher can give a test, mark the papers and get the marks. So the teacher himself collects the data. The researcher can do a survey by himself and get the data. He can do an experiment and get the data by himself, right? That is primary data. Then the secondary data is we are using the existing data. We can go to the library and find some information. We can use those information in our studies, right? And here this one, did you give a test and get these marks? No, somebody has given these marks, right? So this is secondary data. You are using somebody else's data. Secondary. Second one is organization. Now once you have collected the data, you will have to organize, arrange the data. In this case, you are preparing a frequency distribution. So organizing, example, preparing a frequency distribution table. Next one is presentation. In your syllabus, there are 3 types of graphs that you'll have to learn: histograms, polygons, and ogivs. Right? You have to present what you have found, the data, right, in the form of a graph. In this case, they are asking you to prepare a histogram. Sometimes they'll ask you to prepare a polygon or an ogive. Right? Third one is the presentation. Fourth one is analysis part. Here you will have to analyze the data. You can use the arithmetic mean, standard deviation, correlation coefficient, z-scores, right? In this case, they have asked you to prepare the arithmetic mean. I told you there will be 3 other types of questions on stat in part 3. That is correlation analysis, normal distribution, and those, right? So here this is the analysis part. Last one is the interpretation. Always they ask these type of questions at the end, right? You have to interpret your findings, predict your findings using these findings. You have to interpret. That's the format of the paper, right? Actually the format of the first question. Now today we are going to learn how to convert row limits into real limits. Okay, the other day I told you the row limits. These are the row limits. Now how to convert them, because you must know what are row limits and what are real limits. Right, what you have to do is, now you know this is the lower limit and this is the upper limit, right? And what you have to do is, remember this, you will have to subtract 0.5 from the lower limit, right? Now we'll say, what is this one? 10. It is 9.5. 13, 12.5. 16, 15.5. 19, 18.5. 22, 21.5. Okay. Now you have to deduct 0.5 from the lower limit. Then you will have to add 0.5 to the upper limit, right? What is that? 12, 12.5. This one 15, 15.5. 18, 18.5. 21.5. 24, 24.5. So these are the real limits. Put the brackets. Right? So how to convert this? You have to deduct 0.5 from the lower limit and you have to add 0.5 to the upper limit. Right? Remember like this. In Sinhala, adu patten adu karanawa. This is the lower side, right? Adu patten adu karanawa, වැඩි පැත්තට එකතු කරනවා. You have to add 0.5 to the upper limit. මේකනේ වැඩි. I don't know how to say that in Tamil, but in Sinhala you have to do it. If it is in the class, I get you to translate. But now what to do? Adu පැත්තෙන් adu කරනවා. වැඩි පැත්තට එකතු කරනවා. Like that. Then now the meaning of this one, Here you can get, if we draw a line, these are the values 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, like that, right? Now 10 to 20 class, 10 to 12, not 20. Then 13 to 15, 16 to 18, right? These are the classes. Now you see there's a gap in between, right? Here 12 to 13, not 12, here also 12. But in this case you don't find a gap. 9.5 to 12.5, 12.5 to 15.5, 15.5 to 8. Here you can see the maintenance of continuation, right? There's no break, there's no gap. In this case, in row limits, there's a gap. Here, there's a gap. When you draw a histogram, or if because of these row limits, it will be like this. This is not a histogram, this is a bar graph, a gap. But in your syllabus, you will have to draw something like this. No gap, continuation. To get this continuation, you have to get the real limits. That's why we learn real limits, because you have to, this is a histogram, right? In your syllabus, you have to draw a histogram, not a bar chart, bar graph, a histogram. To get this histogram, you must know how to calculate the, what are these? Real limits, right? Limits, right? Now we'll do one more example. When I do, you give the answers orally, right? Loud. First we'll do this part. 20. Can you see like this? 20. What then? 19.5. 25. 24.5. Then 30. 29.5. 35. 34.5. 40. 39.5. Now we'll do the next, the other part. 24. What do you have to do? You have to add. Ar ilakkamamai 24. Same number. 24.5. Second one. 29. 29.5. 34. 30. This one, 34. 34.5. Then 39. 39.5. 44. 44.5. Put this and then put the brackets. Okay. Likewise, you can convert the row limits to real limits. What's the rule? You have to deduct 0.5 from the lower limit, and you have to add 0.5 to the upper limit. අඩු පැත්තෙන් අඩු කරනවා, වැඩි පැත්තට එකතු කරනවා. Right.